everyone in left-wing media rallied around Mayor Karen Bass in Los Angeles and pretended like she did nothing wrong when there are so many examples of her doing the wrong thing in response to wildfires. And so we don't need to provide cover for bad decisions. Doesn't mean that Karen Bass is a bad person. It means that she made mistakes. And in order to prevent those mistakes moving forward, she has to be receptive to the criticism.
Here's where we know this is bullshit. And I have to call this out because we have seen Cenk Kasparian and Cenk Uygur go on all manner of media lately, mostly right-wing shit. They have gone on Jillian Michaels, AmFest. They're going on Glenn Beck. They're all over the place. Now, what she said there is she said something very explicit. She said, if Karen Bass makes mistakes, not only do we call her out for making mistakes, but Karen Bass must be receptive to our criticism, which means, I guess in her eyes, that means there needs to be some admission by Karen Bass that, like, yes, you were right. Yes, I made a mistake. Yes, I did this wrong. Yes, this is my fault. This is my fault. That's my fault, et cetera, et cetera. But what's interesting is they never have this requirement on Donald Trump. They have it on Karen Bass. They had it on Kamala Harris, like in spades, but they never have that with Donald Trump. There is not a single moment anywhere in the political annals of Donald Trump where he has ever once made a statement of taking responsibility for his mistakes. He even denies, like, straight up things he has said that you call out. You could show him the receipts for a lie and he will fucking deny it. And this may be something that Mondale Robinson and Pastor Ben might have a little more experience with, is it feels like, in particular with the black woman, Anna and Cenk expect a black woman to be like, she's got to humble herself. And she's got to, like, oh, yes, Anna, yes, Cenk, I was so wrong. Yes, I made so many mistakes. She's expecting her to just, like, cower down, like she answers to them in a way that they don't ever hold Donald Trump, ever. And what's more, when I look at Karen Bass, the first thing I notice is how everybody has different expectations for her, man. Same way they did with Kamala Harris. Like, even in that press conference, when Trump was there, they had Karen Bass all the way over in the corner, dude. She's like all the way off on the side, and Melania was sitting there in the middle of the table. Melania, who's never had a policy fucking idea, be best? Like, are you shitting me? She shows up looking like the fucking hamburger and shit, is never even there, but now she's in the middle of the table, and the black woman who's running the city is relegated off to the side. Like, come on, bro. That's like racism so powerful.
But she has instead passed the buck in some of the worst ways. She fired the fire chief and accused her of doing things that there is now evidence that she did not do. Okay, like, it's amazing to me. Anyway, let me read.
Oh, wow. Karen Bass passed the buck. All right. Now, again, I'm not like saying like, oh, Karen Bass automatically needs to get off. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is that if passing the buck is a problem for you, for Karen Bass, passing the buck should be a problem for everybody and for yourself. But like, man, Cenk Kasparian likes to pass the buck. Remember how they like to pass the buck about, oh, yeah, no, it's not our fault. It's never me and Cenk's fault. It's not our fault the channel is dying. No, it's the workers' fault. The people that leave us and then treat us poorly. It's the fault of the Beavis and Butthead that make videos about us all day long. It's never our fault. It's not the fact that we have a meltdown when anyone tries to hold us personally responsible. Different rules for different people. And yeah, even with Eric Adams, he gets a little different treatment too. But the black women, though, dude, oh my God, they have it impossible because a black woman, dude, she knows she's the first person getting thrown under the bus by everybody. And that's really hard. It's hard to be a black woman in politics because you're going to have a different set of standards. But what I really don't like is how these people in particular have gone out of their way to defend Trump, and they never, ever hold him responsible. They're like, oh, he's just blustering, he's just trolling, right? He gets all sorts of excuses. I think there's something about Eric Adams in here. I saw Eric Adams when I was scrolling through. It'd be interesting to see. Dude, she never trashes Trump, dude. She never does. I swear to you, she never fucking ever trashes Trump. Dude, the Eric Adams case is bullshit because the way it works legally is you're not supposed to drop any case unless it's because of the lack of evidence. That's like the legal ethics. If there's not enough evidence, then there's a reason to drop the case. But if there's enough evidence and you know it's a winnable case, there is no ethical reason ever to drop that case. And that's the problem with the Eric Adams one is the case is like airtight. The evidence is clear. And there are demands to drop the case despite it being 100% winnable case. And that is a huge ethical conundrum. And that's why everybody's been resigning, because no lawyer that takes their oath of ethics seriously would ever drop a case in that situation where prosecutorially there's no reason to do it. It is hugely problematic. And that's why everyone was resigning. Because the only way you cannot resign is by breaking your oath. Also, we can reopen it anytime. It's a way of like holding it over his head. Then he would be owned by them. It's so dirty on every level.
So anyway, getting back to the hearing, since Mayor Adams, Eric Adams, of course, was among the witnesses, lawmakers did take the opportunity to press him about his alleged wheeling and dealing with the Trump administration, which of course led to the DOJ, I wouldn't say dropping the criminal charges. He could still be prosecuted. They put a pause on his criminal charges.
Dude, it's going to tell us an awful lot about her right here. We're about to see some reality.
Right. And in return, many believe that Eric Adams is willing to play ball with the Trump administration when it comes to deportations. So look, he was evasive in his answers. And I want to give you a little example of that.
Did you see right there, even with he was evasive with his answers, did you see the smile she was cracking? How she said that right there. Oh, he was evasive with his answers, but the smile really communicated like a boys will be boys. Like, we know he's dirty, but oh, he was evasive with his answers. But I wonder if she's really going to pin him down like the Karen Bass stuff, right? Where she's just going to nail him to the wall. I kind of don't think she is. That smile was so, you see the tiniest little detail like that.
Have you ever talked about your case with the DOJ with the president?
No more than what you heard him on the trail say that he thought it was important.
I haven't heard much. Tell me, have you ever talked about the president and talked about your case in the DOJ with the president?
Yeah, as I indicated previously, I'm going to say it again. This case is in front of Judge Ho.
Dude, did you see the way he said, yeah, as I indicated, I'm going to say it again, but he dropped a yeah in there? He answered in the affirmative, but in a rolling through the yeah. It's very telling. Like, if he really did talk to the president and now he's going to deflect, he already said yeah, but he threw it in there with the use of language. Now, my thing with Eric Adams is this guy became very different once he got elected. And so he became very untrustworthy just with the way he seemed to be more of a Republican the minute he won that election.
Have you ever talked about your case with anyone in the Trump administration?
I'm going to say this again. This case is in front of Judge Ho.
Let's keep it real. Look, obviously we don't know what kind of private discussions are happening. We can only speculate. But the Justice Department pausing the prosecution of Eric Adams, of which, by the way, we have so much evidence that he engaged in illegal bribery schemes with foreign governments or foreign actors. Come on. And I'll be fair to Mayor Adams because to his credit, he was critical of the Biden administration's immigration policies well before he had been indicted on those charges. So I think the Trump administration, I think Tom Homan saw an opening, an opportunity to do a little favor for a favor. That's my speculation. But look, to me, the Eric Adams debacle is really a smaller part of the bigger issue here. And I just need Democrats to get a little smarter when it comes to the policies that they champion, the policies that they support.
Dude, look at what is going on here, for the love of fucking God. Like, we are talking about corruption at the highest fucking level, straight up, totally visible, underhanded, degenerate corruption. And she is saying Democrats need to get smarter here. She's about to give us some like lesson for the Democrats, because this huge, open, outright, like right in front of our eyes, corruption at the highest levels is like, we're just gonna, like, it's not a big deal. But Karen Bass not being right with the fires, oh shit, she needs to be tarred and feathered. But like, whoa, she's about to go into the Democrat. Dude, you can't fucking make this up. She's about to turn this on the Democrats. Hold on, let's back up and hear her thing.
To do a little favor for a favor. That's my speculation. But look, to me, the Eric Adams debacle is really a smaller part of the bigger issue here. And I just need Democrats to get a little smarter when it comes to the policies that they champion, the policies that they support, the people that they, for whatever reason, think they need to protect when they don't need to protect them at all. One of the things that's been driving me nuts is how every single one of those mayors talked about how, yeah, I mean, we saw a spike in undocumented immigrants coming into our cities during the Biden administration, but that didn't lead to an increase in crime. In fact, crime is down. But then during the course of the hearing, they were asked whether or not they ask for the immigration status of the individuals who end up getting arrested for crimes. And each one of them said no. So how are you going to argue that, you know, there's no crime happening among the migrant or immigrant community in our cities?
So dude, she literally just glossed over. Yeah, you see that? She just glossed over massive corruption to spin this about Democrats having immigration failures. And in fact, the right-wing immigration fears are correct. That's what she fucking did. Isn't that crazy? And she is like nonchalant about it. Oh, forget. Oh yeah, it's a favor for a favor with that highest corruption shit. Forget about the highest corruption money in politics. Let's talk about how the Democrats really are the problem with immigration and they're supporting bad things, because I was harassed a couple years ago and now I'm getting paid by Prize Pick and Peter Thiel. So let me make sure I like defend the Trump immigration narrative. Like, bro, that is like mind blowing.
When you have no idea because you're not keeping track of it. It's ridiculous. So look, again, for me, the red line is violent crime. If ICE is reaching out, asking for a detainer on an individual.
For her, the red line is supporting the Republican immigration narrative, right? And forget the corruption. We're going to forget the highest order of like massive corruption that will be the undoing of the whole government. Let's just focus on supporting the right-wing immigration crime narrative.
Who's here illegally and is currently in custody because they were convicted of a violent crime.
This is the progressive news station, by the way.
I think the city should absolutely cooperate with ICE and with the Department of Homeland Security, specifically.
They are literally working for the right wing right now. They absolutely are. They still have like moments of their progressive belief. But when it comes to Trumpism and Trump's greater narratives about immigration and ignoring corruption and always bringing the focus back to Biden or the Democrats, like 100%. They are right-wing paid. They are right-wing paid the same way that Benny Johnson is supporting the fucking Russian narratives, or libs of TikTok tying, LGBTQ issues to Democrats. Same shit. They are like bought and fucking paid for. It is so obvious. It is so obvious, even down to like the smirking she had talking about Eric Adams and the blatant fucking corruption. This is like, especially for these people, their whole thing was like money in politics, establishment corruption. And then she stands right in the face of like the highest level of money in politics corruption. She's like, oh yeah, let's go talk about what the Democrats did wrong on immigration and have a good Karening finger wag. Like, bro.
So it's just the devil's in the details, guys. That's all it is. So,
Bro.
But if one side has a position, the other side by default has to take the opposite position, I guess, even if it makes no sense.
And if one side is like blatantly doing outright corruption at the highest levels of government right in front of us, and that side happens to be the side that's like putting money in my pocket, I'm just like, oh, yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't see nothing. Nothing to see here.
So we'll see how it plays out. But right now, I don't think it's playing out well for Democrats at all. And it's certainly not playing out well for undocumented immigrants in the country who are now getting caught up in Trump's immigration policies.
Dude, she literally just took a story about Eric Adams' corruption and turned it into bad for Democrats. Wow. What is up, guys? Thank you so much for watching. You like the video, you want to support independent resistance media, you know what to do. Drop that sub, hit the like button, and please share it. And we do love our members, so if you want to become a member, it's another really great way to support. Thanks again for everything, guys. I'll see you next time. Let's go.